nanach, nachma, asrayu yoidai lekutei lesson 13. Fortunate are the people who know the torah. Shofars blessed. Oh, it is impossible to draw perfect providence until one breaks the passion for money. Its breaking is through charity. For it says in the Zohar, a spirit descends to calm the passion of the heart. When the spirit descends, the heart receives it with the joy of the Levitic song. The spirit is represented by a charity, which is a benevolent spirit. This cools down the heat of the passion for money. This is alluded to in he limits the spirit of the nobles, meaning that the spirit weakens the passion for importance and wealth. Meaning that the spirit weakens the passion for importance and wealth. The Levitic song corresponds to faithful business dealings. One is content with one's lot and is not anxious to become wealthy. For song connotes business dealings. Masa imatan, as in take up su, and a song, take up su, a song, and give it new. A timbrel, su to new, a timbrel. Joy is being, take up su a song and give to new a timbrel. Joy is being content with one's lot, represented by the incense, which binds the passion of the heart to the spirit, as in the incense makes the heart rejoice. This is alluded to in they will place incense in your nostrils. For the concept of incense neutralizes the concept of you will eat with the sweat of your nose. This is an aspect of the revelation of the Messiah. At that time, the passion for money will dissolve, as the verse says, on that day. Each person will cast aside his silver idols and his golden idols. This is alluded to in the spirit of our the Mashiach, anointed one, Messiah of God. But as long as the idol worship of money exists in the world, there is charoinaf, burning anger in the world, and to the extent that this idolatry is abolished, so will charoinaf be abolished. As in the spirit of our the Messiah of God, kindness is then drawn into the world, as in he does kindness to his Mashiach, anointed one, Messiah. And when this kindness is revealed, das will be drawn, through which the temple will be built. This is alluded to in This is alluded to in the abundance of your kindness I will enter your house, as is written in the Zohar. The right side is ready to build the temple. This is because Das is represented by the temple. As a sage said, anyone who possesses Das is as if the temple had been built in his lifetime. Nach, nachman, meuman. Lesson 2, this corresponds. Letter 2, this corresponds to the revelation of the Torah in the future. It is brought in the Zohar that in the future the Torah of the hidden ancient one will be revealed. For the most important element in receiving the Torah is the intellect, which is represented by Moses, Messiah, as in a wise man ascended a city of warriors. Whoever possesses an aspect of Moses, Messiah, is capable of receiving the Torah and is able to draw an emanation of the Torah in order to teach other people. This is because the revelation of the Torah comes from the unification of the transcendent one and his Shekhinah, immanent presence. As the verse says, listen, my son, to the rebuke of your father, and forsake not the Torah of your mother. Your father refers to the transcendent one, and your mother refers to the congregation of Israel, the Shekhinah. Nanach, nachman, meuman, transcendent one, kitshibdichi, holy one, blessed be he. Their unification is by way of the elevation of Jewish souls, by way of the feminine waters. The wise man knows how to take the souls and to elevate them by way of the feminine waters, as in he who takes souls is wise by way of this unification. The Torah is born, and when the wise man rises up with the souls, as in a wise man, he ascended a city of warriors. This brings about, he brings down the might in which it trusts. Nanach, nachma, nachman. Number 3 in the soul represents the will. Each and every one of the people who come to the wise man of the generation has some will. It's tzaddik, nanach, nachma, nachman, meuman. Takes all these wills and ascends with them. Then he brings down the might in which it trusts. As in the angels were running and returning. As in the angels were running and returning. As in the angels were running and returning, he runs forth with the elevation of the souls, and returns with the returning of the souls, with the revelation of the Torah. This is what is brought in the Tikkunei Zohar. Running forth refers to the angel Nuriel, and returning refers to Matat Saraponim, the archangel of the countenance. Nuriel connotes Nuri Aleph Lamed, connotes Nuhur Dalik, a lit candle of flame, with the passion for money. Returning refers to Matat Sarapunim, see name. Archangel of the countenance, who name is embedded in the acronym of the name Moses, who is the Messiah, who is the spirit of our af, through which the heat of passion is attenuated. This is fortunate is the people that such is their lot. Shekacho is numerically equivalent to Moshe, who is Mishake, attenuates the idolatry of silver and gold. Running cools off. The idolatry waters down, cools off, attenuates the idolatry of silver and gold. Running forth, ratzoi, refers to the will. Ratzoi, which is the soul, and returning refers to Moses, who receives the Torah. Nach, nachma, nachman, meuman. Nanach, nachma, nachman, meuman. Nanach, nachma, meuman. Number 4, by drawing the Torah, divine providence is drawn. For the Torah is composed of tanta, ta'amim, cantillations, nekudos, vowels, tugin, crowns, and ois, letters, which represent the 3 colors of the eye, together with the pupil. This is why the Torah commences with Bereshit, Bereshit, which is composed of the letters Reshis and Bas. Reishi alludes Rashi, Rashi, Rashi. Rashi of the letters Rashi and Bahas, Rashi and Bahas. Rashi alludes to, these are the Rashi, heads of their fathers' houses. For the fathers, the 3 patriarchs, correspond to the 3 colors of the eye. Hence, when a wise person draws Torah. He draws the power of sight of God's providence upon us, and the extent that each person is close to the Torah, so is God's providence upon him. For the power of sight functions mainly by way of its striking. For the power of sight functions mainly the power of sight functions mainly by way of its striking on the observed object, and then being bounced off and returning to the eyes. An image of the object is then formed in the eyes, and the eyes then see the object. It is thus the power of sight that brings the object into the eyes. But when the object is far, then before the power of sight reaches the object, it dissipates in the air, it becomes distorted, and cannot strike the object, and cannot then return to the eye. The eye then does not say yet, for sight is mainly the result of this striking. And this is, please return and look from heaven and see. This means that his looking upon us from heaven should return to his eye by way of the striking. Then see ye, for sight takes place by way of striking. This corresponds to the angels who are running and returning. The angels represent the Torah, which is life. Running represents the looking from above to below. Returning represents the striking of the sight upon the object. Or returning represents the striking of the sight upon the object, and it's returning to the eyes, where an image is formed in the eyes. For the eyes are like a shining mirror, in which whatever is standing opposite it is seen. Now, since we are close to the Torah, we are close to the power of sight. Thus, the power of sight returns to his eyes, and we are seen and imaged in his eyes. But the Gentiles, since they are distant from the Torah, they are distant from his providence, and his providence does not reach them by striking. Hence his providence over the Gentiles is only with half sight, as in running, whereas his providence upon us is complete. Number 5, this corresponds to the rectification of the upper chariots and the lower chariots by way of the wise men taking the souls, nanach, nachma, meuman, rising up with them and then coming down with them. The O's might in which it trusts. The 2 chariots are rectified, for there are 4 living creatures that are aspects of the soul: Aryeh, lion; Shohar, ox; Nesher, eagle; and Adam, man, besides a throne and one who sits on the throne. The Aryeh of the soul is alluded to in omaaiiinnn. I gathered moiri, my myrrh, with my spice. Moiri refers to maras nefesh, embittered soul, as in her soul is embittering her. Her soul is embittering her. This is an aspect of a soul blemish, a blemish of the will. When one desires something for the sake of pleasure, that will is a blemish and embitters the soul. But when that person comes to the wise man of the generation, nanach, nachman, meuman, with his soul and his will, the wise man of the generation takes all his wills, gathering them one by one in order to elevate them. Then he gathers also all the fallen wills. This is an aspect of Aryeh in the sense of gathering, Aryeh in the sense of gathering as in Arisi, the wise man. He gathers the bitterness of the soul. The wise man gathers the bitterness of the soul. Nach, nachman, meuman. The wise man gathers the bitterness of the soul, which is the soul blemish, with my spice, means with the good desire that gives out a fragrant smell. The shahir of the soul is the purified light that augments the soul as a result of the coalescence of the soul's scattered parts. As a result of the coalescence of the soul's scattered parts, then the soul shines greatly. For when the will does not shine, the soul is then in the category of a hungry soul. This is because the essence of hunger is due to a lack of light, as our sages say on the verse, He afflicted you and hungered you, and gave you the manna. From here we say that a blind person is never satiated. Satiation is primarily a result of the light that one sees with one's eyes. And if one does not see, one's soul, that is, one's will, is not satiated for. Better a sight for the eyes than the pursuit of the soul. And when one purifies one's soul with the pure light, then a hungry soul will be filled with good, as in He will satiate your soul with purified lights. This is an aspect of shoyd and ox, in the sense of looking sure, as in better a sight for the eyes than the pursuit of the soul. The nesher of the soul is the rejuvenation of the soul, as it ascends in the aspect of ibur, pregnancy. This is represented by a nesher in your mouth. Your youth will be rejuvenated like that of a nesher. Ayadam of the soul is represented by Adam became a living creature. For Adam includes both the impoverished and the wealthy, as is written, let us make Adam in our image. These are the wealthy, and in our form these are the impoverished. But when the souls are gathered in, then they are in the category of Adam. Both great and small souls represented by the impoverished and the wealthy. The Ifanim represent the bodies, for the bodies are able to function only on account of the life force that is in the soul. The soul expresses its functions through the bodily limbs, but the body has no independent movement. It is all by way of the powers of the soul. The kisei throne of the aspect of the soul is the soul of the wise man that was in his cassock concealed. The soul of the wise man is dearer than paninim pearls, upon which our sages comment, dearer than the high priest who enters lifnai v'lifnim, the innermost chamber in the temple. Thus, since the soul of the wise man is clear, is dear, it is concealed in the innermost chamber. And of all souls become its garments. The Adam man who sits on the throne represents the das of the wise one, nanach, nachman, meuman. For it is also not good for the soul to be without das. The four living creatures are also in the torah. And Arya lion is in the torah, for the torah is called oez might. And what is more, as than a lion, the shore ox of the torah is alluded to in through me, referring to the torah, seforim yihiyasuri, through me, through me, seforim yusoiri. Ministers rule. The nesher eagle of the Torah corresponds to novel Torah thoughts, as it rejuvenate like an eagle the other man of the Torah is alluded to, and this is the Torah Adam. The Torah also contains leniencies and stringencies which correspond to the impoverished and the wealthy. The kisei throne of the Torah represents the things that the Ancient of Days kiso concealed. They are concealed within the stories of the Torah. The one who sits on the throne is the Ancient of Days, as in the Ancient of Days said. And the Ifanim of the Torah represent the practical laws. This is the meaning of the story about Rabbi Yoina that is brought in Tahanis. When the world needed rain, he would say, I will go and get ibura grain for a zuz. He would then go and stand in a deep place, a concealed place clothed in sackcloth. This caused the rains to come when the world needed rain. This refers to Torah, as in, may my teachings drop like rain. He would say, I will go and get ibura grain for a zuz. Ibura represents the ab riyoi, the ab riyoi. Actually, ab riyoi, ein beis riyoi ibur. Ahab represents, 72 represents pacification. Ahab represents pacification, Riyoy represents passion, and Ezuz represents the passion for money. Hence he went to pacify the passion for money. He would then go and stand in a deep place after pacifying the passion for money. He made it. This refers to kindness, as something in the sun appears deeper than something in the shade, and kindness is represented by the light of day. As in by day God will command his kindness. By way of this kindness he merited building the temple, which corresponds to the intellect. Thus a concealed place refers to the temple which is in the intellect, as in wisdom is with the modest, literally the hidden. Clothed in sackcloth is an aspect of taking souls to elevate them as above. You take souls as wise. The collective totality of souls is called a sack, since they delight in the shakya of the streams, as in he will satiate your soul with purified lights. This caused the rains to come. This means that he drew torah, as in he brought down the might on which it trusted. They delight in the shakya of the stream, the flowing, the drawing, the pouring down of the stream. Number 6. But one must diligently search and seek for a wise person like this. Nanach, nachma, nachman, meuman, asking God that one merits to find such a wise person who can gather souls, as in he who takes souls is wise. Elevating them and descending with torah, for even the wise one himself cannot accomplish this with one intellect, for they are two distinct intellects. Gathering souls is one intellect, and elevating them and descending with the might on which it trusted is another intellect. These correspond to the letter shin with 3 heads and the shin with 4 heads. The 2 types of shin represent the 2 intellects. This is the meaning of what Rabbi Baba Chana said. Seamen told me, there are 300 parsa, 350 kilometers between one wave and another, and the height of each wave is 300 parsa. We were once traveling along the Oirach way, and a wave lifted us up till we saw the Marvata base upon which a small star rested. It was as large as the area in which 40 measures of mustard bizra seed could be planted. Had it raised us up anymore, we would have Kalinon been burnt by the hevel steam. One wave then called out to the other and said, "My friend, have you left anything in the world that you have not flooded, so that I can go and destroy it?" The other answered, "Go and see the might of your master. Even a hair's breadth of sand cannot, avar, be trespassed." As the verse says, "Will you not fear me, says God." Seamen refers to those who draw down the sea of Torah into this world. There are 300 parsa between one wave and another. This alludes to the shin, numerically 3,300. The height of each wave is 300 parsa. Refers to the second type of shin. That is the 2 types of intellects, which are the intellect of gathering souls and the intellect of elevating souls in order to draw torah. These 2 intellects of the tzaddik, nanach, nachman, meuman, who is the truly wise one, correspond to the 2 shinim. The waves represent the souls, as in shout out with your voice. Oy bas galim, literally, daughter of waves, on which our sages comment. Daughter of the forefathers. Between one wave and another refers to the wise ones, who are between one wave and another, that is, who gather all the souls, as in he who takes souls is wise. 300 parsa represents the first shin, and the height of each wave is 300 parsa, refers to elevating the souls, representing the other shin. The other shin, we were once traveling along the Oirach way, means that we went to arouse union, which is called Oirach, as in Orchi V'Rivi. Psalms, an allusion to marital relations. See Rashi Nida 31a. A wave lifted us up means that they lifted up the souls on high, as in a wise man ascended a city of warriors till we saw the Marvata base upon which a small star rested. Means that they accomplished Union on high marvata refers to union as in orchi verivi, my revei, my lying down. Also an allusion to marital union. At union, the Shekhinah is called a small star. As brought in the Zohar, out of love, the Shekhinah becomes a smaller dot, and in this way unites with her husband. It was as large as the area in which 40 measures of mustard could be planted. As brought in the Zohar, when that creature becomes pregnant, it closes up and is unable to give birth. A snake comes along and bites her genitals, and only then does she open up. Blood then flows forth and she drinks it. This is the illusion. Oh, this is an illusion. This is the illusion of a mustard bizra seed. That is a drop of blood as large as a mustard seed, which came out of her on account of the bite in the bezH genitals. As the Rashbam explains, bizra is a bezH. Then she gives birth, and that which is born is the torah. This torah travels for 40 days, alluding to the other creature, alluding to the other creatures that total 40. On each side, on each side, as explained in the above Zohar. This is the illusion of 40 measures, the 40 creatures, the 40 creatures, which correspond to the 40 days of the Torah. Had it raised us up any higher, we would have Kalina been burnt by the hevel steam. As the verse says, there is a hevel futility that happens on earth, and that there are tzaddikim, nanach, nachman, meuman, who receive the due of the acts of the wicked. That is, this hevel brings many to disbelief, since they see that a tzaddik has it bad, while the wicked one has it good. But had it elevated many souls, we would have surely kalinan from the root of kula, moderated the hevel, this futility, and this futility would not be so difficult for the world to bear. One waved and called out to the other one and said, "My friend, have you left anything in the world that you have not flooded, so that I can go and destroy it?" That is, when all these souls return from pregnancy, and because of their having been united, there is and because of their having been united, there is now more love among them. And because of their having been united, there is now more love among them. They then arouse one another, talk to one another, and remind each other, "My brother, have you left any character trait in the world that still rules over you, and which you are unable to control, so that I can go and destroy it? That is, I will help you to destroy this character trait from you." The other answered, "Go and see the might of your master," which refers to the wise one. Nach, nachma, meuman. See his great might, that even a hair's breadth of sand cannot be trespassed. Which the Rashbam explains to mean, I could not even get a hair's breadth past the whole sand of the coastline, which means you ask me if I have left any character trait in the world that I have not refined. No, my friend, that I am still sunk in all the desires, and have not emerged from chol the profane to the holy as much as a hair's breadth. And certainly one who is at such a level can surely not overpass. That is, he cannot enter into the category of ibur. But nevertheless, go and see the might of your master. That is the power of the wise one, who is so strong that even my soul he is able to elevate in ibur, in pregnancy. Nanach, nachman, and this is the meaning of fortunate are the people, which alludes to providence, that know the true shofar's blast. Alludes to Jacob, who corresponds to charity, as in who corresponds to charity. You corresponds to charity, as in you did justice and charity with Jacob. Yud represents the halvai, all essence, all existence, kindnesses. Nanach, nachman, meuman, nanach, nachman, meuman, nanach, nachman, meuman. You give up represents the halvai, all existence. Kindnesses. In the light of your countenance refers to the intellect, as in a person's wisdom will make his countenance shine. They will go refers to the souls, as in the going of the soul. I also found a manuscript of the rebbe related to this lesson. I only found a piece of paper, and only the conclusion of an idea was written on it, and the beginning is missing. This is what I found: the torah, which corresponds to sight, to tanta, to amim, the kidos, Tagim, ois, all flesh together. All flesh together refers to the gathering of all the souls, as in he who takes souls is wise, for the mouth of God has spoken. All this comes about through the benevolent spirit, which is God's mouth, as our sages say. All this comes about through the benevolent spirit, which is God's mouth, as our sages said. With your mouth refers to charity. Until here are the Rebbe's own words. It is obvious that the Rebbe meuman cites the verse, God's glory will be revealed, and all flesh will see together that God's mouth has spoken. In order to explain how the entire lesson is contained within it, but due to our many sins, the explanation of the beginning of the verse is missing. Nanach, nachman, lesson number 14, the Rebbe's own words. Nanach, nachman, meuman, blow a shofar on the new moon at the set time, in order to draw peace into the world. One must first elevate God's glory to its source, which is awe, as in to be in awe of the glorious name. Nanach, nachman, meuman. Yo, that's me. Nanach, nachman, meuman, bezH.